Usually, Japanese people are known for being the nicest people, with the exception of this old man who went around committing the most heinous crimes known to mankind. So you already know we're about to be counting his victims and ranking him on the menace tier list.
They say that they all died instantly.
One of the most dangerous death row inmates were locked up in a glass-encased cell. These officers begin gossiping how bro is one of the ultimate menaces. He suddenly overhears these two little girls gossiping and approaches like, "Oh hey, I didn't know I had fangirls. Which one of you want to get violated first?" Hey, back the hell up. These officers become so terrified that they begin shaking and trembling. One of them suddenly pulls out a gun in fear, but Yanagi approaches them like an absolute menace and touches the glass. Yanagi here begins laughing cause this glass is supposed to be bulletproof, but it's not freaking Yanagi proof. Yanagi suddenly performs Aikido on this glass and pulls his hand back, which shatters the glass and makes all of the officers realize that they are completely screwed. Dude points the gun at Yanagi, but Yanagi says, "Your shoe's untied," and this goofy looks down at his gun, which gives Yanagi the chance to appear behind him and obliterate him into a coma. Dude gets folded like an omelet, causing the other dude to freak out. Yanagi then begins saying, before literally blowing his brains out. Yanagi will then head to the capital of Japan in the hopes of getting humbled. Once Yanagi landed in Tokyo, he immediately runs into another old man. So they do what old men do best, which is roasting the hell out of each other. Yanagi is actually freaking disappointed in this old man for being a wuss, so he throws a jug of hot tea at this old man. The other old man is absolutely speechless, and Yanagi makes sure that he knows that he could violate him at any moment. After a few days, Baki, the main character, got into a fight with a femboy. He manages to escape and walks past a gardener, who throws a freaking sickle at him in an attempt to murk him on the spot. Baki looks back, all confused, and Yanagi here pulls out a sickle from his booty. Baki is like, "Hey, yo, take me on a date first." Yanagi just keeps a chat expression on while spinning these death fillets around, before launching one of them at Baki. Baki dodges it, but Yanagi uses the other to sneak him. Luckily though, Baki had plot armor, so he dodges them without a problem. Yanagi is like, "Damn, nice plot armor, bro." Honestly, y'all, this fight is ass cause Yanagi keeps spinning these freaking Beyblades around, and these guys don't even throw down. That is until another old man appears to throw hot water on his ass, which scares Yanagi and got him looking goofy. But turns out it's actually cold water. Not sure why we needed to know this, but Yanagi gets so angry that he tries to disable this elder, but bro trips him before uppercutting him off the ground and smashing him into the ground. Alright, how is Yanagi already getting disrespected like this? Yanagi is now having a seizure and dying from old age, but he suddenly activates make shit up jutsu. So after the long explanation from the most irrelevant character possible, Yanagi wakes up on demon time and slashes the other old man. The other old man looks freaking disappointed though and says, "Did you really just cutely paw me?" So him and Baki decide to jump Yanagi for being a goofy. Yanagi is like, "Bet," and begins undressing, but luckily old man stops him from getting this video obliterated by YouTube. These two take the chance to run on Yanagi like some thugs. Yanagi tries to attack, but gets Aikido'd. Baki then appears and tries to knee him. Old man and Baki has this fool surrounded, in which Baki begins bouncing like an Easter bunny and tries to sneak Yanagi. Yanagi almost manages to kick Baki in the balls, but gets sent flying. He spins like a soccer ball before landing into another man's arms. I'm sure y'all know that one move, where the guy behind begins humping dude, but sadly that doesn't happen as Yanagi kicks Baki and tries to choke old man. Old man throws him off and Yanagi gets sent flying through the air, but he's graceful as hell and lands like a G. Yanagi suddenly walks towards Baki while activating Talk no Jutsu. The old man tries to knock Baki out of it, but Baki is stuck in Yanagi's domain expansion. Yanagi finishes it off by saying, "I'm not locked in here with you, you're locked in here with me." He then covers Baki's mouth and begins brutally touching him. I can't show it on screen, but here's one of Yanagi's victims. Yeah, it's that bad. Yanagi watches a couple clapping all night. No, I'm serious. Baki and his girl were getting it on, but Yanagi was legit outside, listening to cheeks being clapped. Baki turns back and sees Yanagi and says, "Wow, you really like watching, don't you?" "What? I was just waiting for you to be done." Yanagi is looking down on our boy Baki cause a while back he did manage to make Baki look like a goofy, but Baki just had his PP training session, so him and Yanagi go to a park to throw down. Baki's girl's like, "You can't do it, Baki." And Baki's like, I know, I have plot armor after all," before suddenly jumping at Yanagi. Yanagi tries to block it but gets kicked. He then gets decked in the face before getting uppercutted into the atmosphere and landing with his cheeks up in the air. Yanagi looks freaking brain dead and begins saying, "Damn, you? How am I getting beaten by an average Netflix teenager? Yanagi gets up and begins activating Baki logic. He begins demonstrating what he's about to do, but Baki gives no F's and walks towards him. Yanagi tries to send Baki back to the good old days by whipping him. He then hits Baki in the foot, but Baki just smiles and says, "Bruh, what is this girly ass crap you're doing?" Baki becomes confused, but suddenly begins stealing his moves. He then begins whipping Yanagi into a car and worker, and has bro screaming and bawling. Yanagi then turns back towards Baki like, but Baki whips his face. Dude is now bent over for Baki, but luckily Yanagi manages to slap Baki. Baki doesn't even look phased and it just kicks Yanagi so hard that he begins opening his throat for the gok gok. The old man is now completely crippled and is crying on the ground. Baki though shows no mercy for this elder and puts him into an armbar. As he's about to break dude's entire arm, a Russian appears out of nowhere and tries to sneak him. Baki is like, huh? Who the hell are you? The Russian gets angry and tries to use a zesty punch on Baki, but Baki just stands there menacingly. Bro's like, damn, I didn't even have to move to dodge a slow ass punch. Yanagi gets up like, damn, this guy has changed. I think he did PB training. We're no match. Baki's girl Kozue suddenly butts in and says, "Oh hell nah, you are not jumping my mans." Nah, don't worry Kozue, I'm about to make these guys my kittens. Baki walks up to this Russian and dares him to touch him. He reaches out and grabs the Russian before throwing him into Yanagi, who is sniffing the cheeks. Baki suddenly approaches and says, "Y'all like getting slapped?" before smacking the Russian and Yanagi into submission. Even Kozue is like, "You didn't need to clap him that badly." Yanagi gets up and begins using talk no jutsu. He realizes that Baki did PB training. This gives the Russian man the chance to get up. Baki then tries to slap him, but Yanagi tries to arm toss him into the Russian guy's punch, but ends up getting punched by his own teammate. Baki then finishes off the Russian guy with one hit. Average Netflix teenager suddenly appears. Baki's like, "What's up, dog?" And as he's reuniting with his homie, these two losers wake up from the nap and tries to get their aura back, but Baki just picks up his girl and runs away, leaving these two idiots stunned. They try to challenge the big dude but get rejected, causing them to turn on each other. Yanagi realizes how goofy they look and begins crying like a toddler. A femboy and a karate guy are saying their goodbyes. They wholesomely practice some martial arts. Femboy here finally leaves happy, knowing that he's kept at least some of his aura. The ship soon sets off, but Femboy here realizes that an old man is here. Yanagi begins roasting him for being soft, but Femboy is like, "What's wrong with being a femboy?" and throws glass into Yanagi's eyes. He then tries to sneak Yanagi but gets hit right in the eyeball, blinding him. Dude thinks that Yanagi is close, so he activates his blades, but Yanagi suddenly appears behind him and begins strangling him with the gift that his karate friend gave him. Femboy manages to hit Yanagi hard, but Yanagi grins before launching him off the ship. Femboy is now being hung off the side of the ship. He manages to climb up, just to find Yanagi unsheathing his blade, ready to finish him. As Yanagi goes to cut off his head, Femboy blocks his attack using his arm. Yanagi is like, "Impossible," and realizes Femboy has steel in his arms. Femboy jumps off the ship grinning, knowing he managed to escape Yanagi's violation. Yanagi here is deprived of aura, but luckily another old man appears. This old man is definitely about to do some crazy stuff, just like every old man in this anime. Yanagi throws a cigarette at him, but it lands on a blade. Turns out that this old man is a delusional weeb. He then lifts his blade, but Yanagi begins underestimating bro. Dude sprints towards Yanagi and swings, but instead of slashing, the sword is thrown into Yanagi's knees. The old man then uses a chain to trip him, and as Yanagi gets up, he smacks Yanagi with it, which looks hella brutal. Yanagi looks done for, but suddenly begins chuckling. He pulls out some sickles from his GTA pocket, but bro doesn't even look impressed. Yanagi looks crazy as he begins spinning it like a helicopter. The old man looks disappointed and just steps out of range. Yanagi is like, "Wait, that's illegal." As Yanagi gets roasted, he tries to pick up his sickle, but dude throws a chain on him before grabbing Yanagi and throwing him into the steel bars. Yanagi is like, "Damn, did I just encounter one of the main characters?" But no, this guy is just some random overpowered side character. Yanagi gets up trying to use martial arts, but this old man charges him and slices his freaking hand off. This leaves Yanagi freaking baffled. Yanagi is getting freaking disrespected and is now looking up at this man. Old man is like, "You better admit defeat," but Yanagi just laughs and says, "Look behind you, the booty warrior has come." Old man turns back to see this man Yujiro, which causes him to scream, but Yujiro just grabs his blade and begins popping it off like it's made out of paper. He then approaches Yanagi and has him crapping himself. "Yanagi, you're lost." Yanagi is like, "Who the hell are you to say I lost?" Which causes Yujiro to turn back to this old man and is like, "Do you hear this goofy?" Even old man is scared for this man Yanagi, cause he just told the ultimate menace off. Another old man appears, and not sure what's going on here, but Yanagi gets freaking backhanded into another dimension. He face plants into the concrete, and honestly, I think bro is dead. He pretty much died with his cheeks in the air. Yanagi, what the hell was that? Did we just watch this man get clapped by the entire Avengers team? Yanagi is nowhere near menace tier tier. He's not even in crazy. Yanagi is the first quote-unquote normal character for this tier list. It pretty much means he's a loser. Everyone, Kinda Stoic has new custom designer merch coming out, so make sure you go follow the Instagram for any updates.